Hello, this is John Cortanovas with GIE Media, and welcome to today's Q&A podcast, The Importance of Cloud Technologies in Promoting Global Food Safety and Quality Assurance. Please welcome today's guest speakers from our podcast sponsor, SafetyChain Software. Humphrey, SafetyChain Software's Chief Technology Officer, joins us today with more than 20 years' experience in technology innovations. Also joining us is Joyce, SafetyChain's Customer Delivery Manager, who has worked with a variety of food and beverage industry leaders during their deployment of emerging cloud-based food safety and quality assurance, or FSQA software solutions. Welcome, Humphrey and Kyle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kyle, let's start with you. There's been a lot of talk recently about adoption of cloud-based software solutions for FSQA. Why do you think cloud solutions are becoming so widespread in the food and beverage industry?
Well, I think that's a great place to start, John. As we all know, FSQA compliance is really only going to get more complex as the supply chain continues to go global and we see new legislative measures such as the Food Safety Modernization Act really begin to take shape. Now, these complexities are really layered on top of the already complex FSQA practices. You know, testing records and audit trails and maintaining those records have long been required by law or other non-regulatory standards. And obviously, customers have always had their own requirements as well. But what we're also seeing actually is an increased awareness of FSQA issues amongst consumers. So as a result, companies are really looking for solutions that enable more preventative FSQA measures by allowing them to share more information throughout their supply chain. And that means really what needs to happen is all participants in the supply chain are going to have to get connected in order to get information collected, analyzed, and reported in real time. Now, in a global food supply chain, that becomes impractical, if not impossible, really using traditional ERP-type solutions that are expensive, slow to deploy, and costly to maintain. And in many cases, some organizations are not even, do not even have ERP-type solutions in place today, in which case a lot of this is still done manually on paper, which is a very labor-intensive and error-prone sort of approach. So this is really why we're seeing such an emergence of FSQA solutions that are cloud-based. They make it easy to connect suppliers and manufacturers and the ultimate services and retail customers without using expensive hardware installations and with affordable, fast-to-deploy, and easy-to-use solutions that have a quicker, hard dollar return on investment.
Okay. Humphrey, are there security risks with cloud-based FSQA solutions?
This is a great question, John. The short answer is no. Think about industries that rely heavily on the cloud, such as email, online banking, and human resources. If you think about it, these cloud-based applications contain your personal information, social security numbers, paycheck information, and bank account numbers. Yet they are all very secure. In fact, more than 50% of all Americans pay bills and do online banking, and that number grows daily. Banking and human resource industries know security in the cloud is as secure as on-premise solutions. Early adopters in the food and beverage industry are finding that this is true for them as well. For example, SafetyChain's cloud-based security is configured specifically for each customer's needs, which means that all participants in your supply chain send, receive, and access safety and quality information according to your requirements. This allows each user to view and provide results for their piece of the supply chain in an easy and secure way. Finally, most cloud-based solution vendors generally exceed government and customer security requirements because they go the extra mile to ensure customers' confidence.
Great. All right, Kyle, you work with many SafetyChain customers who are implementing cloud-based FSQA solutions. What do you hear most as the business driver for cloud adoption?
You know, the key driver I really hear repeatedly with the customers that I work with is really kind of reaching this idea of a shared system that can cover the supply chain. The reality is that using a cloud-based system allows all participants in the food supply chain to send, receive, and analyze FSQA information together in real time, and that's really what clients are aiming for. Now, this makes it easier for everyone to work together, it helps speed throughput, and at the same time, it prevents non-compliant products from coming in or going out. Another big element of this movement is really automation. Automation is a big part of the shift as well. Many of the customers I work with are looking for ways to save time and reduce errors in manual processes, and they're turning to new mobile technologies like tablets and smartphones or ruggedized handhelds that they can use to gather and report information in real time.
Humphrey, can you give us a quick overview on the basics of SafetyChain's cloud-based safety chain for food?
I'd love to, John. SafetyChain for Food is the industry's first-in-class food safety chain management solution. It allows all the members in the supply chain to send, receive safety and quality test results in real time using email, computers, mobile apps, and even automatically from testing equipment. SafetyChain for Food then analyzes in real time safety and quality results to customer specifications. For the results that pass, COAs are automatically generated or product can go to the next point in the supply chain. In fact, in case of a failure, notifications are automatically sent via email and or text messaging, so corrective actions can take place at the earliest point in time. Because all inbound production and outbound results are time and date stamped and housed in a central repository, this provides a single point of access for performance assessments and trending reports to be performed.
Okay, Kyle, can you provide us with a few examples of cloud-based food safety chain management?
Sure. Let me give you a couple of different scenarios of how cloud-based safety chain management supports safety and quality compliance along the entire supply chain. Now, keep in mind that these types of scenarios would be quite difficult, if not impossible, without technologies that allow information to be entered from anywhere at any time in real time. So let's say for our first scenario, we're a food producer, and we have a truck of fresh meat that's backing up at our loading dock. Now we have a technician out there at the receiving dock capturing temperature readings on a customized form on a tablet, such as an iPad. The HACCP critical control point at the point of receiving there is 44.6 degrees, but our technician is recording that the sample is being received at 48 degrees. Now once that data is entered, the application is able to analyze that CCP reading in real time, and because the sample is outside the critical limit, a real-time notification is triggered either via text message or email, for example, to certain pre-identified people. In this case, let's say perhaps the procurement manager, maybe a contact at the supplier, and most certainly our FSQA supervisor. Now the technician knows that immediately they should put that shipment on hold before accepting, and that's going to give the QA supervisor some time to receive that information and determine the next step. But let's say our QA supervisor is off-site somewhere. Perhaps they're visiting a plant or maybe they're with a customer. Now they're able to receive that alert on their mobile device so that the manager is able to send back immediate confirmation to our dock technician not to accept the shipment so that we're able to enforce compliance and prevent non-compliant raw material from getting into our production where it could be considered a contaminant. Now I'll give you a second scenario here that's a bit different. Let's say that we have a field inspector who's out looking at lettuce in a particular location, and they're completing a pre-harvest assessment form on their smartphone. They're checking for things like insect infestation, perhaps the cleanliness of the field and the facilities nearby, or potentially other attributes related to that crop. Now that individual out in the field is able to send the completed form along with pictures back to the QA manager. The QA manager is able to look at that information and determine that the lettuce is out of compliance, in which case an immediate alert is sent back to the field inspector informing them not to approve that field for harvest. So once again, just as in our first scenario, compliance is enforced and the customer was able to actually prevent the acceptance of non-compliant goods.
Humphrey, any final thoughts on the advantages of cloud-based FSQA?
Thanks, John. There are several important advantages I would like to point out. First, cloud-based solutions allow all participants in the supply chain to be audit ready at any time, since all results are time and date stamped with electronic signatures. Secondly, the ability to manage corrective actions in real time works like a virtual smoke alarm in the sky, alerting the right people at the right time, preventing bad product from moving down the line or worse, out the door. Finally, cloud-based FSQA solutions are cost-effective, fast, and easy to deploy, allowing all participants in the supply chain to work together in a highly secure environment, all while cutting hard dollar costs.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Humphrey and Kyle, for an informative webcast. For more information on cloud technologies and SafetyChain software's SafetyChain for Food, you can visit their website at www.safetychain.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.